Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. David here. Today we are at Westlake Pro, Los Angeles, California, and we get to play with the new AMS NEVE GENESYS Black console. Full analog, digitally controlled. Let me show what this beast can do. I spread one of my mixes on it. Let's play with it. All right, so we are here on the new GENESYS Black from AMS NEVE. First of all, what is this amazing looking board? This is a full analog console, digitally controlled. We start with the preamp section. We have 16 1073s preamp, legit. And then all our sends. I'm not going to describe every single part, every single detail. Today we're gonna just spread a mix and have fun with it. I want to show you a little bit of workflow with this console because there are so many ways in which you can use it. You can use it as a full analog console, old school. You can use it as a DAW controller. In fact, we have the first 16 channels here, and this bay here instead controls the Pro Tools faders. And I'll show you, you can turn all the faders to be controlling the faders in Pro Tools. We're gonna see that later. One very important thing, you don't see the EQ section in this bay here because the EQ, the hardware EQs are inside the console. That's why they were able to make it so small and so compact. As you see from the screen here, I had this mix and I grouped all my main elements so I could spread them in the analog channels and use the EQ, the compressor section of the console. So we'll get into the routing in a second, but I want to show you, if you look at the screen here, we have a plugin, which it's not really a plugin. This is just the control of our EQ and our dynamics that are inside the console. So you can touch it and control the hardware EQ that is inside. And same for the compressor, all right? Same for everything. And this board for every channel has two types of EQ. You can configure this the way you want. You have the old school vintage 1073 EQ or the 88 series that we'll see on some other channels here in the project. I pull up my sessions, my faders come up automatically, all my settings for the EQs, for the compression, every single thing. It's automated and it's recalled the moment that you open the session. If we take a look at the screen and we can start looking at the mix. Now this is my artist Bella. It's gonna be one of the first songs that we will release. It's gonna be a soft release, so we can start playing it for a second. You get the idea. So let's take a look at the mix and how it's routed so I can tell you what I have here on the console. I had several tracks of drums and I just grouped them and printed my drum here. Now you can see this alt drum green track goes to the drum summing, which is an aux. All the black tracks that you see on the project are a summing bus, which I sent to the channels here on the board. You can see my routing line 1 and 2, and on the drums, in this case, we can solo it. Okay, I open this GENESYS control. Again, this looks like a plugin, but it's not. Is the control of the actual EQ and compressor that is inside the console. Now here I can use compression, I can use the EQ. In this case I have the 1073, and for example, one important thing, I have another screen in front of me which it basically mirrors what I have here on this monitor in front of me. You can decide whatever you want to use. It's the same thing. You want to use this one, and this is, as we said before, is a touch screen. okay? Or you can use it there, or you can use it here, same thing. So very versatile for whatever you want to do. It's cool to have the touch screen if you want to use it. It's cool to have the physical control that you want to use it. This works very much like a live console. You select the channel and then you have the physical control. Here we set the drums go to channel 1 and 2. Let's mute everything else. All right, let's say I want a little bit of kick drum here. So let me see how 60 works. Let's say 1 dB and a half. So these are analog EQs. Like the moves, even if you see 1.5 dB, it adds a lot of weight to this kick drum. And let's see the top end of this drum. All right, as you can see, I can bypass and unbypass the EQ from here to hear the differences, and it's so very cool because I can control, I like to control the physical controls for the EQ and compressor, but it's cool to have a bypass right here. And if I want to control for the same channel, the dynamic, I just press dynamic here, and these 4 rotary controllers here will control, instead of the EQ, the compression. I'm exaggerating the settings right now because I want to get familiar with the compressor. The compressor is the 88 series, so I want to get familiar. I'm gonna just squeeze it to here where the attack is. We have a fast attack too. This would be probably totally cool for a parallel channel, which I could do. All right, I'm gonna keep it where it hits the kick just a little bit and take it from there. Let's get to the bass. Okay, I have one pretty distorted 808, which is the clean one for me. And I also have a parallel distortion channel for the 808, but is only automated, and you can see the automation here in the breakdown. In this case, you can see this fader. Here's my distorted parallel 808, and it goes up just in the breakdown, and it actually moves up in volume. Then I have here these bits for the call and response for the other 808, that is slightly different. Now these 3 tracks goes to the bass sum, and in the bass sum I have again another Genesis control in my channel 3 and 4. Okay, so we can start tweaking that. Put the drum in, first of all level. Then let me see if I can get a little more mids on this bass and maybe a tiny bit of sub energy. So I'm gonna select these, and it will control number 3. I'm not gonna mess that much with the mids because I want this bass to still be dark. Let's see what we can do on the low end. A switch to dynamic for the same channel. I'm actually not gonna use compression on this. It's an 808, it's pretty squashed already, and it's dynamic and steady. I don't need compression right here. Let's go to the next group here on the channel, which are the distorted electric guitars. So again, let's pull the faders up. All right, same thing. I have 3 tracks for the guitars. You can see it here. I have this one. And then this melody part here. Okay, for the whole group of guitars, I send it to my guitar bus here. I'm gonna mute bass and drums, and I'm gonna try to get a little bit of top end from these guitars. Switching to dynamic, I want to hear if the attack is in this compressor is slow enough to give me a little bit of snap when there's the stop and go section. Okay, and you know, I could automate the dynamic to come in just on those parts. So that's the beauty of this console. I have an analog compressor here that I can automate only for one section, just like it was a plugin. So let's see where the dynamic bypass is, on and off. There you go. And I will have a line here now on the guitars, actually on this track, for dynamic on and off. So I'm gonna start off, and you can see the line on the screen going down, and I'm just gonna automate the compressor to come in these parts. Here, fully on, and then here in the breakdown. Fully on, and I think we're done. I want just those two. My verses, okay? Now, let's put back in drum and bass. All right, now we have the vocals. Again, I had so many vocals for this mix that I comped so I could spread them here on the console. I have the lead vocal. I had the lead vocal for the bridge, which are different. There are screams and faraway vocals, and then I have my return for all the effects, and everything goes through the analog path on the console. So the first one, we have actually a blooper that I recorded. She did it, but it wasn't supposed to be there. because she doesn't even curse. But let's solo just the vocals for now.
Oh shit. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart and soul gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type?
I'm just adjusting a little bit for the top end with just a plugin normal. So we have a hook vocal here in red, a verse vocal with some harmonies and the screaming on the bridge you will hear in a minute. Then I have a parallel vocal here, and all these vocals, including ad-libs, which is this orange E track down here, go to, oh, we also have all the screaming part. Let me play you this.
Mess with the devil on a higher level. Pin my hands up, touch me, make me shiver.
You can see some automation here. I turn down S's by hand, and I actually want to show you how the fader will follow that. Okay, you can see this fader here, Bella Vox, that's the special, and you can see my automation, this fader will follow.
My hands up, touch me, make me shiver. Mess with the devil on a higher level. Pin my hands up, touch me, make me.
So the vocals for verse and hook go to the summing bus, which is all vocals here, and it goes to channels 7 and 8. So again, I can use the console as a piece of outboard, EQ and dynamics. Okay, so with the vocals soloed,
Way out of hell. Your knuckles are so bloody and you came to kill. Chain me down, lick me up, pin me down.
that's a little too much mid-range, so I'm just gonna with IQ selected.
Way out of hell. Your knuckles are so bloody and you came to kill. Chain me down, lick me up, pin me down. Loving you is like a suicidal pill, but touching you brings to me hella chill.
Guys, definitely the 3K range that is a bit too much, and while the frequencies around it are, there is sound that I like, that is a bit too piercing, so we're just gonna cut it a little bit.
Way out of hell. Your knuckles are so bloody and you came to kill. Chain me down, lick me up, pin me down. Loving you is like a suicidal pill, but touching you brings to me hella chills. Loving you can burn, sting, and can kill, but damn so tastefully how that man can kill.
I'm just gonna give it half a dB to compensate on 16K, because these EQ are super sweet. Let's see, the verses are slightly different from the choruses, from the hook, so I might need a little bit of automation there too.
Life. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat.
I actually don't, and I will remove the cuts that I did before, because the movements that I did with the NEVE EQ make it sound okay without any other processing.
Life. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat.
But I could use a little bit of compression, just a little bit on the hands, which I like, but it's a little too much.
Life. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type?
I'm good with that. Let's see the level. I'm gonna put back all the instruments one by one.
Life. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type?
With the music, I think I want some more high end.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know?
All right, I'll stop there because I want to hear the effect. In the effect, the returns of my reverbs and delays for her are here in channel 11 and 12. So I have several effects, some printed. I have a hook delay that is printed, and then I have some ad-libs, which are reverse, reverb. We can probably solo them. Okay, but those are in the special, in the bridge. So for now, we're gonna hear the effects, which are a delay, a reverb for her, and whatever else. there's just a simple mod delay. Other vocals. Let me actually solo her vocals with the effects only.
You brings to me hella chills. Loving you can burn, sting, and can kill.
Dry.
You brings to me hella chills.
And with effects.
You brings to me hella chills. Loving you can burn, sting, and can kill. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control.
All right, we can put back in everything else.
Man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type?
Okay, so we got all the instrument, the lead vocal for verse and hooks, the return of the effects here on the console, and then the last pair is the special vocals, which are these. So I had for her a lead mono center, the red track here, and then a stereo, a double stereo, which she sang twice, left and right. I wanted again to spread them on the channel all together, so I comped them to one stereo track, which contains the lead mono and the stereo, and I muted these. We can solo these. So the first part are these ad-libs that she does, and I printed the reverse reverb that you hear using the regular deverb. Halfway the bridge, the special, I had to record a couple of scream vocals from far away from the mic, and these are what you hear coming in halfway. And you can see the level is automated, and of course the console follows my level automation here. So you can see also the automation on the delay, which is here.
With the devil on the higher level, put my hands up, touch me, make me. So.
Okay, and it starts again. So if we pick it up from here and we put back in the instruments, we have everything now. I will want this to be a little lower, so I'm just gonna automate the trim here because I'm fine with level overall. Let's see, a couple of dB down, fade in. And I also want to automate these effects, the effect return, to go up a little bit there. So I'm just gonna turn the touch and latch on and just move it here from the console when it's playing. Okay, so I created a little movement, a little build up in that a portion at the end of the bridge before going back into the chorus. And as you can see, I'm using this totally analog console as a DAW controller. Now I'm gonna show you what I was talking about earlier. So here we have our analog channel up until this point. Now, if I press the DAW button, all the faders are now controlling Pro Tools faders. All right, so if we play the music, we can see all our fader moving. All right, if we go on the mix page, they follow, they mirror what we have here, and we can go back with banks. We have the drums here. You can see everything is named. This is Bella's vocals, the ad-libs, next bank. I have the guitars, all right? And now this is a DAW control. and here it tells you that you have the automation on. All right, so again, this board is that amazing. We have 16 1073s, 2 different EQs for each channel, the 1073 EQ and the 88 series. We have 6 sands for channel. We have the return faders here, and of course we go back in analog mode. You have all your levels here and still controlling Pro Tools faders from here. Now, a couple of things about this console in detail. For example, we have 8 buses, and if we can get close here, we can see the master section. We have 8 groups, 8 buses, so if you want to route your tracks to 8 buses, you have inserts for each bus. We have 4 reverb return or delay return. They call it reverb return. So you have 4 stereo groups here, all the sands, all the monitor section. You can monitor the Q1, Q2, your mix, anything you want. External source by pressing this button. So if you have a reference track that you're using and it's coming from an external source, you can compare it to your mix just by clicking here. If you want to keep this monitor next to you, for example, like on a side, and just keep Pro Tools as a DAW instead of a touchscreen, and you want to use that touchscreen, you can do it. I personally like to use the rotary here, the controllers, because also you can switch to dynamics for the same channel. So if you look at that screen, I can control with the rotary the EQ or the compressor. Full metering section here. All right, and let me turn the volume down. You can select what to meter. That's an important part. I want to show you really quick, because you can get the metering from your channel input, from your DAW send, and from your DAW return. And of course you can have insert. Actually, the master fader has 2 inserts, one direct, so whatever you're putting there is wet 100%, but then it has another insert which has a blend knob. So you can have both at the same time, of course, and you have one direct and one you can use a blend knob, which is a great function. And those are on the master fader. If you want to use any of that, for example, on the master fader, you can, and you can even blend it. This is it, I think, for this first video on the Genesis console. We're gonna open another mix on this one and maybe run the automation that you've seen here. They were already done. We're gonna do them on the board, on the console, so you get a feeling. This is it for this video. Westlake Pro, Los Angeles, California. This is the NEVE Genesis Black. Thank you for watching. See you next time.